Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Adriana Monique Alvarez, and we are continuing our conversations with the contributors of Awakening, and I'm so excited to have Dominique with us. Hi, Dominique. How are you?
Hi, I'm really well. Thank you. How are you?
Good. So first off, tell us where you're joining us from.
Oh, Melbourne, Australia. We're in a stage 4 lockdown. So it's really, people aren't happy this time round. So yeah, the more we have of this sort of, thread of positivity and thread that says it's okay, you're safe, there is something that is changing and awakening that is of benefit in this kind of chaos and this change, the better.
Yes, I agree. When Derek and I went to Australia in December, I got to meet you, and I absolutely love Melbourne. It was like the place I was like, oh, I could live here. Like, this place is very cool and artsy fartsy, and I call it the hippy dippy trippy. It's like it's all my stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So, Dominique, what did you write about in your chapter?
I wrote about connecting to your goddess voice and finding your goddess voice. And the first thing most people ask me is like, what is a goddess voice? What is that? And my personal kind of training is in the stage realm of the stage. I trained as an opera singer. My father was a Shakespeare expert. I was surrounded by actors and performers and writers all my life. So there's a natural tendency for me to, I guess, find that sense of the dramatic. What is the epic? What is the great story? What is the most uplifting, heart connecting, soulful, interesting story? And of course, the goddesses of the sort of spiritual realms, the goddesses tend to help us find that within our own voice, within our own nature, because of course the goddesses they lead you towards your own nature. As an energetic pathway, they lead you into who I am and awaken more of the qualities of who I am in that fully realized female power self. And it doesn't always have to be big and showy. There are introvert goddesses who are very deeply quiet, and there are other goddesses who just laugh. And, so what are we saying? That for whatever quality you need to unfold or unlock or integrate that you really want to connect with, there is a goddess for it to help you deepen that work. So yeah, a goddess voice is simply the fully realized feminine quality that, the goddess of that story chooses to express in an embodied way. So when I say embodied, I mean that it's in your body. Your gestures actually move with the quality. Your heart, the way you love, the way you have compassion moves with that quality. And your thinking, your mind, your intellect, your academic kind of intent, the way you vision, the way you create your goals, that moves with that quality. So it's this integrated intelligence. I call them the three intelligences. And I think a goddess helps you really fully integrate the parts of those intelligences that we tend to neglect a bit, which is the heart intelligence and the body intelligence. Yeah.
I love that because it's all of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, we live in cultures where there's so much focus in the mind. And so to really listen to the experience of your own body and your own heart and let that flow with the mind to then express that quality through your voice becomes a whole potent, presence.
I love this. And, when we were talking before we started all of this, you were telling me about all these voices that have been lost, right? How many generations, how many things have happened, and especially with women's voices. So tell me a little bit more about that. What do we do?
What do we do? I think the first point of reference is to realize that if 50% of the population, all women, have not been allowed to use their voice in positions of authority for, say, 3,000 years, and that every time there was an attempt to do so, they were shamed, ridiculed, suppressed, silenced, tortured, burned, like whatever it is, that thousands of years of experience leads to, there's certain outcomes of that. And those outcomes are to do with the acknowledgement that perhaps the reason I don't feel confident in my voice is because the things that I am not confident about are things that are linked to that tradition of non-permission. So that I haven't been allowed to just speak my intuitive truth for 3,000 years without being shamed. So I now feel lacking in confidence with it. And what we tend to do is we tend to think, I'm not good enough. It all comes back to the I'm not good enough. And if people can switch that I'm not good enough to actually there is a potential in me, there is a feeling in me, there is a gift, there is a quality, there is an innate ability in me that I am not sure of, because this incredible history of being told that it is wrong. Yeah. If we can actually switch it from, it's not that I'm not enough, it's just that I do not know the skill sets. And I have been taught to doubt myself. So there's two things with the voice. The voice requires skill sets. You always have to train in skill sets with the voice. It's an art. It's a place of the artist. It is an art form. And you also have to trust yourself and know yourself. So there's a deep journey for women to find their goddess voice, to learn to feel into who they innately are, know more about themselves, validate those feelings. I'd like to do this with my voice, and say, that's a real feeling. That is not an imaginative nonsense. It's not fanciful. It's a real impulse of my self-expression from that place of the mystery. The feminine sits in the mystery. It doesn't sit in the mind intellect. And again, please, I am generalizing here. Of course, we've all got intellects. But when something arises from that inner mystery, the unknown place, then we immediately go into, is that real? Do I really want to do that? No, I don't. We go into all this self-doubt, and the self-doubt is much stronger because for all these, kind of a cliche polarity experience, feminine qualities, feminine traits, feminine attributes, which of course can sit in a male or female body. But, women in a female body tend to, once we enter into a female body, of course, we have that experience of the cellular being female. So it comes with the territory, doesn't it? To actually have that feeling of there are places in me where I'm not enough, when really it's just there are places in me where I haven't learned about myself and I haven't developed skill sets yet.
That's it right there. So tell me a little bit about this, because, obviously I've observed this happen over and over. Yes. It feels like sometimes my clients' best ideas are the ones that they'll just shoot down faster than anything, right? And I go, no, don't do that. That would be amazing, right? But like you said, it's that self-doubt, and there's just not enough practice there. There's more practice shooting it down, doubting it, than actually giving voice to it. In fact, right now I'm doing this 30-day tell a story a day challenge, and it's interesting how many women have a hard time just sharing one story from their day, publicly, writing it out. So what's this skill set? What can help us with this? Give me one way to begin to build this muscle.
Okay, so and it is a muscle, and it is a muscle that is to do with conquering, daring to be vulnerable. And, Brené Brown has a fantastic body of work on addressing vulnerability and shame, because the biggest silencer of the voice is shame. If you look at all the guilt, is quite noisy as a voice. Fear is really noisy. Like there's lots of fear voices. They're pretty noisy. But shame is what I call a silencer. And so if we can start to track our shame, what am I ashamed of? And there go, that's why I'm silent. Because I'm ashamed that if I reveal myself, people won't like me, won't approve of me. I'll be more vulnerable. I won't be safe. The bottom line is when we go through all the layers, we get to that point where we want to feel safe. And so the starting point for developing a confident voice is to actually get practice so you feel safe. And you can do anything. You can get your teddy bears or, like line them up around and just practice your story and say, I'm going to tell you a story this morning. And it will feel so dumb and so weird and so stupid and so scary for absolutely no reason at all. And we have to break that. We have to cross that threshold. There are fear thresholds with the voice that you can't escape feeling that feeling of fear, blah, 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 blah. It goes in right through your body and it's very uncomfortable. And if we sit with that and say, that is normal, that is a threshold that is fundamentally present with every time I take a bigger step with my voice. And if we can actually learn to have a few tools to sit with fear and go, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to just do a little bit of humming. Fear. I'm safe. One of the best power words, you can just go walk around the house. This is a really great exercise. You want an exercise that's really easy. Touching things. I'm safe. Touch your heart. Out loud. You have to say it out loud. I am safe. Touch the computer. I am safe. Even when it's off, look into the camera and say, it is safe for me to use my voice. And you'll feel like even me doing this, and I'm so, like I've been on stage in countries all over the world, thousands of hours all my life. That is, I still feel that little bit of, a little buzz, the adrenaline experience. So the more we use this out loud, I'm safe. And you can just I'm safe. It is safe for me to be me. It is safe for me to tell a story. You have to do it out loud. Because the voice doesn't get practiced unless it is out loud. You can't do it in your head. People practice their stories in their head.
Yes.
And then they get to sort of this sort of situation and they're like, they can't articulate. It's got to be out loud. Yeah.
I so agree, because you can mentally play it over and over, but it's nothing like it coming out.
Yeah, it's nothing like it, because mentally, again, we come back to that point that I made at the beginning, is it sits in the mental realm, and the mental realm is fantastic. We know that visualization penetrates the physical, it penetrates the energetic, it actually influences it. Our thoughts influence everything we do. But we've got to put it in our bodies. I trained as an opera singer, and you start with the body. You start with the physical. You don't start by imagining your voice. You start by in the physical. You've got to put it into the physical. It's exactly the same with storytelling, Facebook Lives, like everything. You've got to put it in your body, experience your body and how your body responds to that, and acknowledge the fear that comes with putting something in your body, being visible, being seen and heard. Do the breath work, do something as simple as I am safe, and then go back to it. And can you see how slowly I spoke when I did it? It's allowing yourself to really feel, take your time to let this sit in the physical.
Yeah, that's a beautiful exercise. I mean, especially right now, that's one of the biggest things, right? We need to feel safe in the world. We need to be able to communicate that to our children. We need to know it, really, really know it in here. Now, do you want to do some fun things with us over there?
Oh, you'd like me to do a little?
You gave us a little taste there.
Yeah, one of the things that I find that really inspires women, and particularly women who want to connect with their intuition, is to learn to tone and do toning and singing, because as soon as you do, like in ancient times, every woman in a position of power would tone and chant and sing. It was like before the goddess spoke, she sang. So that was a fundamental skill set. And so it's like I bring it into the modern day and say, we can all do this. It's just passing that confidence threshold. So one of the things I do is sound healing with the goddesses. And so that, I guess, sound moves in through the physical, through the energetic, mental, psychological, emotional bodies. It interpenetrates all of those. So I'm just going to sing to your hearts and to your voices. And yeah, let's go into the throat center. So if you set an intention with sound, it tends to really open up the space. So all you have to do is relax and receive. And I'm going to ask, okay, whenever I talk to you, Adriana, Mary comes in. And she's very chatty as well. She likes the voice. So I just want you to imagine blue light in your throat center. And just imagine there's a pathway from your throat down to your heart. And we're just going to tone that pathway a little bit. And all you have to do is receive and feel the movement of the sound.
So beautiful.
And when we tone, something really, really simple, we remember. We remember, because this cellular, memory lives in the cells. And we have that memory of those lineages where this was part of our experience. And we remember that we were goddesses and priestesses and, like worthy and valued, and our voices were important.
So beautiful. I love the way you said that. And I mean, that's the work you do, yes?
Yeah, it really is. It's just reconnecting. So I found the sound reconnects people and they don't even know how it's happened. They just step out and they're just suddenly more confident. And they're suddenly more kind of in tune with what they're really here to do.
Beautiful. Dominique, how can people connect with you and the work that you do?
I have a website, which is goddessvoiceacademy.com. And I also have a Facebook group where people can come and get goddess sound healings. So I do a goddess sound healing every week, and that's Goddess Sound Healing Journeys with Dominique Oyston. So I've got my Facebook page, but the Facebook group is really nice to get a taster. Like this week, we're working with an Irish goddess who came in, and she's offering protection, that quality of protection. And when I spoke to her I always feel weird saying that. She was just saying, I'll offer you protection among the winds of change. So it's just that vibrational feeling of, I can feel my boundaries. I can feel where my internal landscape exists and where the external landscape is swirling around in chaos. Yeah. So, and then next week there'll be another goddess and things like that.
I love that. I mean, like you said, what a great way to experience it, and then, go from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Dominique, thank you so much for contributing in Awakening and for the work that you do. I want to remind everyone that they can pick up their copy on Amazon. Be sure to go to Dominique's chapter. She's got some great practical ways to begin to practice your voice and to be able to trust it.
Yeah.
Also, if you'd be interested in our next book, Visionary, I will put the application in the comments. We love, like same thing, right? Bringing women's voices, creating a platform so that women can express themselves in the work that they're here to do. And
we need to hear what people's visions are too. We need to have women be confident enough to dare to share their vision, and to put it in print, to put it in writing and say, this exists. And then the visions all start to speak to one another and, this momentum grows. So, yeah, we want to hear people's visions. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're going to be in that one as well. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, big hugs from Colorado. I'll talk to you soon.